What advice would you give to researchers who might be interested in the narrative approach, but perhaps were inexperienced at this point?
I think there's two things that I would suggest. I think one is certainly over the kind of burgeoning the emergence of narrative criminology. There has been some kind of dismissal of narratives as something frivolous.
Mm.
But actually, when we think about it, the way that narratives and story govern our lives, they shape the way that we present ourselves. They shape the way that we present our histories. They shape the way that we present our cultures. They shape the way that we present our politics. They shape the way that we live our lives. And I think actually, we are not doing social science justice if we are not accounting for how the stories that we tell actually shape our existence as social creatures. So that's on the one hand. I think, taking the idea of the story and the role that it plays in human society and human development seriously is the first kind of tip. But the second thing that I would recommend is that stories are complex, and often there are competing stories and competing narratives. And as I'm going to be talking about in my talk, there are impositions, there are structural, there are kind of politicized, racialized, sexualized contexts in which our narratives are produced. So I think one of the greatest tips that I could ever give anyone is that not only do we need to understand the stories that people tell, we need to put a lot of investment into understanding the contexts in which those stories are being produced. And it's only when we can kind of marry those two things together do we actually get a fuller picture of not just the individual, but the social context in which they exist.